What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Taste Like Music. Jason and Joe here, reviewing a record today. It's been a while since I've done an album review. A couple months, I think. I've been slacking on the video reviews. However, I have not stopped listening to new music. Been listening to a lot of stuff, but we're finally getting around to one here. The new Wilco record, "Cruel Country." I'm a huge Wilco fan. I don't know if people know that. I think most of the regular viewers probably are aware. I love Wilco. They are a top 10 favorite band of all time for me. Joe, not so much. I don't know if you actually hate them, dislike them, are indifferent to them, but this should be interesting to see the varying viewpoints here. I'm interested to see what you think. I don't know how often you even have listened to full albums. So where are you coming at this from?
Well, I've never really gotten into Wilco. I've listened to Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, I've listened to Summer Teeth, and I think I listened to Star Wars. So I'm by no means a Wilco completist or even close to your level of fandom. I do enjoy a couple Wilco tracks. I wouldn't say I hate them. I think indifferent. One of the words you picked would be a good description of my feelings, my dealings with Wilco so far in my life. They exist, and I'm tired of hearing about them all the time, but I don't hate them or anything like that.
All right, so if you're not aware, this is their 12th studio album. It is a double album, 21 tracks, I believe. 12th album, not counting the Mermaid Avenue records, which they made with Billy Bragg. I don't know. I haven't been super in love with a Wilco album in a little while, though. Even as much of a fan as I am, the last one that I was head over heels for was The Whole Love, which seems like a later period record along with this one, but is actually now 11 years old, which is hard to believe. I love that record. The records since, I think they're still good, but they don't reach the expectations that I have for Wilco, Star Wars, and Schmilko, especially. The last one from 2019, Ode to Joy, was a step back in the right direction, I thought. Enjoyed that one a good bit. I gave that 4 stars. I think they still have great records in them, so I was excited to get to this. The whole marketing thing behind this was that it's called Cruel Country, and it's they talked in the press release about it being them not being afraid to be a country band. They don't say explicitly that it's a country record, and it's not. So that's a thing to know going into it. If you're expecting this to be the country record or a return to the early days of AM, it's not that. It's not entirely different from the last couple records. But I think, they kind of allow themselves, or they don't put a pressure on themselves to be anything more than just playing the songs that they wrote. I don't think that they're putting the pressure on themselves to do something experimental or come at it from some crazy angle or do something revolutionary, which I think maybe at times they had in the past. They've kind of pushed themselves beyond just being musicians. And I think they're more comfortable now just kind of delivering a batch of songs. And that's kind of what this boils down to. Your first thoughts on the record?
It's tough for me to talk and review a record like this because I don't know, I don't know their early stuff. I don't really know the Uncle Tupelo stuff. So I don't know how close to country they ever were. So you have to forgive me if I don't know if this is a return to some of their earlier works, how much they use lap steel and how much they kind of dabble in that, Americana kind of country, wide open spaces, not trying too hard to be indie rock or anything like that. So I came into this pretty open-minded. I'd heard the one song before the album came out. I liked it. I thought it was a good sound for them. I listened recently to Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. I don't love it. It seems a little bit too much like that precious twee indie rock stuff that I don't gravitate to. But on this album, I appreciate how they're free of any pretension on this album. It's kind of like you said, they're just making an album and they're just singing the songs. I think they went into it just trying to make a good album with elements of the country sound, There's lots of good guitar. It sounds a little bit like, cosmic country, 70s sort of feeling I get from this. A little warmer, a little Graham Parsons sounding in places. I really like the instrumentation. I don't think they try to get too cute ever. Starts off real jangly with Cruel Country. I think the guitar tones are great. I think the melody on it and most of the album is really strong. They got like a little horse trot percussion going. It's a good vibe for me, and it kind of eases me into the album. A song like Empty Condor has a little more drama, a little more danger to it. You have Bird Without a Tail and Base of My Skull, which has a little more upbeat, quick pace, but they don't lose any of the melodies. I think the melodies are strong. The guitar works really nice. They have this longer instrumental section, which I'm guessing is the Base of My Skull part, and real interesting guitar, like weaving together, sounded great. They transition back to Bird Without a Tail, which a little awkward. They kind of just like stop and then it like goes back into this strong melody again. I thought that was a little weird. But yeah, Many Worlds is real lovely. Like mournful piano, some strong chord progressions, and it's not country like Cruel Country. I think a little bit of a misnomer, but you get those hints. You get that Americana, you get that cosmic country, a little like mysticalness to it all. Great reverb guitar. First time I heard this, I went through it. I was like, okay, this sounds nice. I don't know if I'm really going to dig it. But the second time through, I really started to latch on to some of the melodies and the guitar work. And for me, the weakest part of Wilco is always the vocals. I don't love the vocals. They sound a little bit too modern to me. I miss sort of like that twang, that countryness, and that's really missing from the vocals. But I think the instrumentation is fantastic. There's enough fire in it to keep it interesting. The guitar's great. Song like Mystery Binds, which isn't really country, but has a nice like spaciness to it. Reminds you a little of Ryan Adams, but has a great guitar lead on it. And I think the adherence to like that country aesthetic instead of like a twee, indie rock, cutesy kind of feel really helps, at least for someone like me, really gravitate and like what I heard. So I like it a lot. I think I have it at 4 stars. It definitely grew on me a lot during the second run through. And despite it being a double album, I don't love double albums. I think it hurt, Big Thief. But for this, I got into it. I kind of like waded in slow. And I didn't even notice that it was, 21 tracks and an hour plus. And I was like, well, the album's over and I enjoyed it. And I never got that feeling of like, just, please end at any time. So I dig this one. I think it's a good step in the right direction. I don't know if they're going to go back to this ever again, but for what they did on this album, I like it. So 4 stars for me for Cruel Country for Wilco.
All right. I'll take that. I think this is a record that I think is going to be easy for people to dismiss. I think if you're a big Wilco fan, you're going to put this on and it's going to be kind of what you expect, not as exciting as you would hope. And it's long and it's a lot of the same. There's not a ton of variety throughout it. But I would encourage people to stick with it and give it a couple listens at least. Fortunately, the day that it came out, I was doing a lot of driving, so I had a chance to listen to it like 4 times in a row. And I found myself really enjoying it. The songs like getting deeper and deeper into my mind, sort of being able to remember bits and pieces and recall what a title of a certain song was after a few listens. And I think this is Tweedy's best songwriting in a while, since probably The Whole Love. I think there are a ton of really, really cool lyrics on this record. I love the song Hints, where he says there is no middle when the other side would rather kill than compromise. Love the line in the title track where he says, I love my country, stupid and cruel, red, white, and blue. I think he's talking a lot about America, but he's doing it like in Tweety fashion, kind of vaguely, but you sort of, as you listen, you kind of pick up lines here and there, and it kind of cobbles together like this collage of how he's feeling. It's really cool. The band, it almost feels like a Tweety solo record in some ways. The band is just kind of playing support. I think the songs are really the focus. You're not getting any like shredding Nels Cline solos or anything like that. They're great players, and like Joe said, the instrumentation is fantastic, but it's pretty subtle, and it may take several listens to really appreciate everything that they're doing. Glenn Kochi, fantastic drummer, just amazing all the time. Really like his work on this record. I love the song Ambulance. I love the line, once just by chance, I made a friend in an ambulance. I was half man and half broken glass. I think that's so cool. Bird Without a Tail, Base of My Skull, 2 songs stuck together or whatever it is really cool. You kind of hear the band start to stretch out a little at the end of that, where the like intertwining guitars that you mentioned. I really wish that he just let loose there. That's like the perfect spot where he could have just ripped a solo, but it's still very cool. The big question, I think, is does the record justify its length? And I don't know. It could probably be a little shorter, but I also think, I wouldn't say it loses steam or anything in the back. I think the last half of the record is very strong. There's a lot of good songs back there near the end. Falling Apart, I think, probably the most country song on the record. Maybe A Lifetime to Find also. Country song Upside Down is great, which is in the back half. I don't know. And I still get the sense, even after listening to it like 5 times now, that it's better than I think it is. Yeah, I think it's really cool. I'm probably at 4 stars also. I gave their last record, Ode to Joy, 4 stars as well. I think this is a little bit better than that. And I have a suspicion that it's going to rise to 4.5 by the end of the year. But like I said, it's not going to be a record that maybe casual Wilco fans get super into, although you're the most casual of Wilco fans and you seem to dig it. So, and for the hardcore Wilco fans, or at least the fans that go back to the, the classic era of Yankee Hotel Foxtrot and A Ghost is Born and records like that, they may be underwhelmed at first, but I think the writing is worth exploring. I think it's very good. So yeah, I'm pumped for a Wilco record that I'm into as much as I am this one. I'm happy to have it as part of the discography now. So there you go.
Now, do you think Wilco fans will like this album? The people who are into Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, like that type of Wilco, will they like this? I like it because I'm a country fan. I'm a big cosmic country fan. You have a song like Falling Apart right now with that almost chicken picking, it reminded me of Glenn Campbell style guitar. Got a great line like I've been through hell on my way to hell, which definitely stood out as a funny but not like trying too hard kind of line. Nothing like heavy metal drummer in here. So will that type of Wilco fan like this album?
I think there are several types of Wilco fans at this point. And I think someone like Cram, who's super into Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, but started to lose interest around Sky Blue Sky, I don't think this record is going to win those people back. If you haven't liked Wilco since Sky Blue Sky, then this probably isn't going to be your thing. But if that's kind of where you pick up with Wilco and you like kind of the more straightforward type of writing and production and the quote unquote dad rock that they get labeled with, then yeah, this is more in that vein still. So yeah, I think there's a good chunk of their audience that will dig it, but there's always going to be those people that want Yankee Hotel Foxtrot Part 2, and this is not that. So there you go. Let us know what you think of the new record. Have you heard it? How many times have you given it a listen? And has your feelings changed or evolved as you've given it multiple spins? Let us know down in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and check the video description for links to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can find our website there as well, and merch and Patreon. It's all down there. Check out the links. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.